seemed like the best couple in the world. A love that everyone loved and everyone wanted. On the wedding day, faces were shining with smiles. Bright hopes for the future were in every heart. But this bouquet of happiness soon turned into a terrible and heartbreaking reality. The day when this gathering of happiness changed its color and brought the color of blood. The yellow circular tape of the police turned that house into a murderous place. The echo of the murderer was heard in every corner. Now the question is, was it really love? Or was it a trap in which a person was trapped and killed? Was this murder the culmination of love? Or a planned conspiracy? This is the story of the secret that turned a happy marriage into a terrible tragedy. A secret that will blow your mind knowing. Jessica was a beautiful, intelligent, and attractive woman, one of the most active and social women in her community. There was a certain charm in her words that impressed everyone. She held a prominent position in her field of work, especially, you can name the field of your choice, such as insurance agent or fashion designer. Friends and relatives knew her as a loving and responsible wife, but no one knew the secrets hidden inside her. There were aspects of Jessica's life that only a few knew, secrets that later proved disastrous for her. Behind her smile was a complex personality, which hid the cunning of hatred under the veil of love. Michael was a successful and hard-working man who made his mark through his hard work. He was considered a reliable figure in his field, such as a businessman or an engineer. Michael's greatest goal in life was to establish a happy and peaceful family. He married Jessica because he wanted a true and faithful relationship. Friends said that Michael was a kind and loving husband who wanted to support his wife in all situations. But a few months ago, he felt that distances and bitterness were coming into their relationship, but he could not find a solution to this change. This blow to Michael's life was so severe that his life was in danger. The story of Jessica and Michael began with a simple meeting, where both of them had different worlds, but fate brought them together. Michael, who was known in his field for his hard work and honesty, and Jessica, whose beauty and intelligence were the life of every party, met at a time when both were looking for something new in their lives. They met at an event, where at first sight both of their hearts started beating for each other. The beginning of the relationship was very beautiful and romantic. Those moments of love that only appear in stories now came to light as reality. During the meetings, they got to know each other better, and soon this relationship took the form of a relationship. Both friends and family were happy, because this couple seemed complete and perfect in every way. Then came the day when Jessica and Michael got married, a joyful day in which every face smiled, and every heart it was filled with prayers. The wedding ceremony was filled with color, light, and love. Everyone was happy for their future, and this world seemed like a dream. But the reality of this dream soon turned into a horrible reality. Initially, everything seemed perfect, but as time went on, Jessica and Michael's relationship began to crack. Small arguments became the norm, often rooted in financial problems. Michael's business troubles cast a dark shadow over their lives, and Jessica's silence only made these problems worse. Things that were once open inside the house now became confidential, secrets that both of them had buried deep in their hearts. Friends said that Jessica was not the same. Her behavior had changed strangely. She was not as cheerful and loving as she used to be, but was often quiet, withdrawn, and increasingly distant from Michael. Michael tried to explain several times, but Jessica's attitude was cold and indifferent. Some people also observed that Jessica's behavior was as if she were hiding a secret.
Oh!
And these secrets further weakened their relationship. Michael felt that love had now been replaced by distance and suspicion, and the fear of possible betrayal took root in his heart. These were the moments when the relationship once again reached the brink of collapse. An evening that may have seemed ordinary, but it contained a dark conspiracy, which turned out to be the final chapter of Michael's life. The murder was meticulously planned. Jessica poisoned Michael, a poison that slowly kills and makes death look like a natural accident. According to some witnesses, they were alone in the house, and Michael suddenly showed acute medical symptoms for the first time. irregular heartbeat, difficulty breathing, and finally he became unconscious. Jessica immediately called 911, but there was an unusual coldness in her voice on the call, which raised suspicions. During the call, Jessica claimed that Michael suddenly became ill and that she was trying to save his life. But during the investigation, the police found contradictions in her story. In addition, Jessica also claimed that someone else might be involved, a false conspiracy that was an attempt to cover up the truth. The police gathered all the evidence and began to unravel the mystery behind Michael's death. When the news reached the public, their initial reactions were mixed. Some suspected Jessica, and others considered her a victim. But as the investigation progressed, the truth emerged in the form of a terrifying reality. Immediately after the murder, the police began questioning Jessica. Jessica initially claimed everything was normal, but the investigators, meticulous questioning and questions, began to uncover the layers of her lies. The police collected all the evidence from the scene, including bloodstains, poison residue, and other items. A forensic team also examined various parts of the house, and the autopsy report revealed a secret that contradicted Jessica's story. According to the autopsy report, Michael died of poisoning, but the quantity and nature of the poison were such that it was not the result of an accident, but was administered intentionally. Jessica's statements to the police were inconsistent and incomplete, which further cast doubt on her. The investigation also revealed that there were several possible motives behind the murder. The greed for the insurance money, which Jessica was supposed to receive from Michael's death. Wally took to the path of murder for a large sum of money. Jealousy and envy, because Michael's success and fame had become too much for Jessica to bear. And most importantly, revenge, which Jessica probably took to avenge some old mistake or wrongdoing of Michael. The police report and forensic evidence proved that this was no ordinary quarrel, but a planned and cold-blooded murder. All of Jessica's attempts to hide the truth failed, and the truth exposed her crime. Based on the evidence of the murder and the investigation record, the case reached the court, where the demands of justice were to be met. The courtroom atmosphere was serious and tense. Jessica, once a loving wife, now stood in the courtroom as a suspect. Investigators and prosecutors presented witnesses who explained in detail how Jessica planned to kill Michael. Forensic reports, autopsy evidence, and 911 call recordings were presented in court, which proved Jessica's story to be false. The victim's family expressed their emotions in court, with tears in their eyes and pain in their hearts. They pleaded for justice, that the killer be given a severe punishment. Jessica's lawyer made various arguments in defense, but the investigation and evidence rejected these arguments every time. Finally, the court found Jessica guilty of murder in its decision, and sentenced him to life imprisonment, so that he would never feel the air of freedom. This sentence was not only a legal decision, but also a message to the victim's family and society, that cruelty and murder will never be tolerated. The victim's family said, "We got justice, but our hearts are still broken. Michael will always live in our hearts." This case is not only a story of the destruction of love, but also an example of the enforcement of justice. The court sentenced Jessica to life imprisonment, and she has now reached her end in the darkness of prison. Inside prison, Jessica's behavior kept changing. Sometimes she would burst into anger. Sometimes she would seem to be deeply lonely. According to psychologists, Jessica's personality had prominent traces of selfishness and jealousy. She not only wanted to fulfill her own desires, but also had a passion to humiliate others. A woman who once promised love, now limited in herself, was suffering the punishment for the crime she had committed. Finally, the same woman who had promised love, who had said forever, took her own life. So what is your opinion? Was it really love, or was it a well-planned murder? It's up to you to understand the truth behind this story. If you liked this video, press the like button below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you keep getting such thrilling and realistic stories. In the next video, we are bringing another case that will blow your mind. So get ready and stay connected with us.